Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're not really talking about someday. We're talking about right now. Our mission it's pretty simple, actually. We're taking that, universal desire we all have for a life that's joyful, less stressed, the one with financial independence, good relationships, all that stuff. And we want to give you the blueprint to actually design it, brick by daily brick. We look at a whole stack of sources, and honestly, they all point to the same thing. It's this undeniable truth. You just cannot wish your way into an extraordinary life. You absolutely have to master your day every single day. And that mastery, that's what dictates your long-term destiny. It really is.
And, we see why people get stuck trying to start. Our research, it really highlights these limiting beliefs. They're like the real enemies of taking action. It's that little voice, isn't it? The one saying, oh, I'm not good enough, or that awful feeling of, what if I fail? But probably the biggest one, the one that comes up again and again, it's the fear of judgment. What will people think about me? That seems to be one of the strongest factors stopping people. So this deep dive, it's really designed to give you the strategies for the right mindset and the right actions to sort of silence those voices for good.
Absolutely. And we're moving away from just like vague self-improvement ideas. We're going straight into a clear, actionable method. We're going to show you that your future, it's not some abstract thing floating out there. It's actually being built right now by the small steps you are taking, or maybe the ones you aren't taking today. Okay, so let's dig into the core philosophy first. Why does this daily action define, well, everything? We saw this really compelling argument that mentioned Albert Einstein, his famous definition of insanity. Repeating the same actions, expecting different results. And if you apply that to personal growth, it kind of seems, so let's put it bluntly, stupid to imagine spending your days in a reckless manner and still expecting greater heights.
Yeah, that wording, it sounds a bit harsh maybe, but it gets right to the core of it. Alignment. Think about golf. When you're teeing off, you could hit the ball with maximum force, right? But if your aim is just slightly off, even a tiny, tiny bit, all that effort just sends the ball way off course, miles from the hole. Your daily actions, the effort you put in, they have to be precisely aligned with where you actually want to go long term. If the direction's wrong, the force is just wasted.
Right, so effort is kind of useless if the alignment isn't there. Okay, but how do we keep that direction and keep the force going, especially when, you don't see results right away? That's where this whole science of daily mastery comes in, yeah. We found like 4 main pillars supporting this idea. First one, the compound effect. Okay, everyone sort of knows the basic idea, small daily improvements, massive results over time. But the deeper thing here, I think, is the psychology needed. Like, look at Warren Buffett. Started investing when he was 11. The real genius wasn't just starting. It was sticking with it daily for like over 70 years. Imagine enduring decades of maybe boredom, doubt, seeing only tiny results for ages. It works because you choose that sustained, maybe even boring consistency over quick, exciting fads.
And that consistency, it really relies on what some sources call the PDF formula. That's productivity, discipline, and focus. This isn't just a checklist, It's more like the engine for taking action every day. Take John Lee Dumas, for instance. He started the Entrepreneur Fire Show back in 2012. His commitment, daily podcasting, no exceptions. That level of discipline, that focus, the PDF formula in action, that's what led him to multi-6-figure monthly income in just a few years. It really shows that relentless, focused repetition can unlock huge results, exponential ones even.
Wow. Okay, then there's the domino effect. We often try to change like 10 things at once, don't we? But success tends to be sequential. Yeah. When you change one key habit, maybe starting your day with exercise, for example, can trigger this chain reaction, other positive habits seem to follow more easily because that first win gives you momentum. It might feel slow at first, linear maybe, but eventually that momentum kicks in and the growth curve just takes off, becomes exponential. So that first domino, it's the hardest one to push over you. But it has the power to knock down all the ones that follow.
Exactly. And finally, we got to address the sheer size of it all. Life goals, health, finances, family, career. They feel enormous, overwhelming. And that leads to just thinking about it forever. Analysis paralysis, which is why we need the eat the elephant principle. You can't swallow it whole, right? You take one bite at a time. Marathon running is a perfect analogy. You don't just wake up and run 26 miles. You commit to daily training, daily discipline with food, sleep, that huge goal. It gets conquered through those manageable, small, consistent daily actions, one bite at a time.
Okay, so we get it. Acting daily is key. But how do we switch from that feeling of forcing ourselves to do stuff that's the push-a strategy, which never lasts, right, to genuinely wanting to take action? Our sources point towards this much more powerful push-pull strategy.
Yeah, the Peel strategy is all about mindset. It really is. If you cultivate the right internal environment, the right thoughts, the right beliefs, then the actions you need to take, they almost feel naturally attracted to you. It's like the 80-20 rule for your brain. Spend maybe 20% of your effort on getting the mindset right, and that can yield like 80% of your overall results. It's leverage.
And a huge part of that mindset work is managing your environment, isn't it? That famous Jim Rohn line, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That feels crucial here. If you're serious about changing your future, you kind of need to surround yourself with people who see you for your destiny, not just your history. And that can be really tough, can it? Especially if your current circle is, well, comfortable with the old you.
It is tough, no doubt, but it's often necessary. Okay, so let's get specific. Let's detail 3 mindsets that really activate that POL mechanism. First one, the solution-oriented mindset. Successful people, they just don't see problems as dead ends. They see them as opportunities, maybe disguised opportunities.
Okay, and how do you apply that right now? The practical bit. It's about categorizing, apparently.
Yeah.
The moment a problem hits, you ask, is this controllable? If the answer is yes, you need to take quick, decisive action. Now, if it's uncontrollable, then the only real action is managing your own internal reaction,
Yeah.
your emotions. The sources often mention the serenity prayer framework here. Yeah, grant me the serenity to accept what I can't change, courage for what I can, and wisdom to know the difference. It's about that wisdom part.
Right. And to protect your energy, especially when you get stuck in those draining negative conversations. Maybe at work, maybe family. There's a simple little technique, CTT. Change the topic. That's it. Instead of getting drawn into a pointless argument that goes nowhere, just subtly shift the conversation. Introduce something else, something more productive or just neutral. Think of it like a mental shield. It guards your energy against that needless negativity.
Okay, I like that. CTT. The second mindset is possibility thinking. This is about moving from just reacting to problems to actively looking ahead, operating in like constant attack mode, always scanning for the next possibility. It's like the difference between an average sports player and a great one, isn't it? The great ones are always thinking ahead, anticipating the next play, looking for that opening.
Exactly. And to do that effectively, you have to keep exercising your courage muscle, as some call it. Because the map to your next big opportunity, it's almost always marked by fear. You got to face those fears head on. The more you step into the unknown, the stronger that muscle gets. If you never take the shot, well, the score stays 0, right?
Which leads perfectly into the third mindset, speed living. This sounds interesting. There's this underlying idea that the universe loves speed and money loves speed. Successful people tend to be decisive. They make decisions quickly. Now, that doesn't mean hastily or recklessly.
No, not recklessly. It means they've built up a tolerance for risk, usually through practice on smaller things. Look at Richard Branson. That famous story, his flight gets canceled. He doesn't just sit there complaining. What does he do? He charters a plane immediately. Then, rapid decision number 2. He grabs a blackboard, sells seats to the other stranded passengers, probably at a markup. That instant action, that speed, that was the spark for Virgin Atlantic. If you want to build this speed muscle, start small. Decide quickly what to wear today, which route to take to work. Don't overthink the little things. Making those small, quick choices builds the mental pathways you need for bigger, higher stakes decisions down the line.
Okay, so we've covered the internal mindset shifts. Now, moving to the external anchors. Our sources make a useful distinction between 2 types of supporting actions, rituals and reminders.
Yeah, that's a helpful way to think about it. Rituals are those actions you follow with real consistency, deep commitment. Things you do daily, almost like breathing, like exercise, or maybe meditation. Reminders are different. They're more like quick, in-the-moment mental nudges. They help you correct course during the day, maybe manage a sudden burst of frustration, or just stay on track when you get distracted.
Got it. So let's anchor the day with 3 high-impact daily rituals. First one mentioned frequently, gratitude. Practice first thing in the morning. We hear this a lot, but the why is key. Neuroscience actually tells us we literally get more of what we focus on. Our brain wires itself that way. So gratitude forces your brain to focus on abundance, on what you do have. And be grateful for simple things we often take for granted, right? Clean water, electricity, internet access, just being alive today.
Absolutely. Second ritual, exercise. Even if it's just 15 to 30 minutes, it's not just physical. It gets oxygen pumping to your brain, which boosts cognitive function. And it releases endorphins. Those endorphins are really important. They directly improve things like courage, focus, your mood. And the key rule here is simple. Doing something is always better than nothing. Don't aim for perfection, just aim for doing.
Good reminder. And third, visualization. Just 5 or 10 minutes a day. You close your eyes, and you vividly imagine your ideal life. But here's the trick. Use all 5 senses. See it, feel it, hear the sound, smell the air, taste the success, whatever it is. Why? Because the human mind tends to prefer certainty, even a known negative, the devil you know, over an unknown positive, the unknown angel. Visualization creates this powerful feeling of certainty about the positive outcome you want. It helps override that natural aversion to the unknown.
That's a great explanation. Okay, now we have to talk about dealing with the outside world. Specifically, those negative people who can just drain your energy. Our sources tend to divide these people into 2 camps: optional partners and mandatory partners. Mandatory being, maybe family or a boss you can't just easily avoid.
Okay, so what's the strategy for the optional ones? The ones we can choose to interact with less. Just the advice is, be selectively social. Have a clear framework. One interesting idea was the 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days rule. You mentally classify people. Are they repellent, draining your energy? Keep interactions super brief, like 3 minutes max. Are they neutral? Okay, no major impact. Maybe spend 3 hours with them occasionally, like a casual coffee. Or are they attractors, the ones who genuinely lift you up, energize you? Those are the people you'd happily spend 3 days with, maybe at a workshop or retreat. The point is, don't waste precious time and energy on optional negative people just to be nice or keep up appearances. Be selective.
That's a very practical rule. Now, for the mandatory partners, the tricky ones. The key here is realizing you absolutely cannot control them. You just can't. You can only control your reaction. And remember this, 100% of your feelings are generated from your thoughts moment to moment. So, if you feel that anger or frustration bubbling up because of something they said or did, the immediate action is to update your thoughts. Try to genuinely understand their perspective, maybe, or just choose a more neutral thought. And crucially, do not argue. Seriously, even if you win the argument, you still have lost. Why? Because you've burned your valuable mental and emotional energy on a fight that probably changes nothing fundamental.
That's hard advice to follow sometimes, but it makes sense. Now let's hit the accelerator. How do we really ramp up towards that exponential growth? We need high leverage tools. First one is maintaining a lifetime learning mindset, continuously sharpening the axe, as they say.
Yeah, and the secret sauce here isn't just how much successful people read, although the numbers are often staggering. Like Warren Buffett's 500 pages a day, Bill Gates reading 50 books a year. It's why they do it. It's not just about collecting facts, it's about enhancing their psychological adaptability. It gives them diverse mental models, different ways to see problems. So when complexity hits, they have a whole toolbox of perspectives and potential solutions ready. They don't have to figure everything out from scratch every single time.
Makes sense. And the second accelerator.
Yeah.
The incredible power of mastermind groups. This idea goes way back to Napoleon Hill. It's about joining forces with other ambitious, like-minded people. This group becomes this amazing support system. Gives you accountability, you said you do something, and motivation. But maybe even more powerfully, it helps you instantly reframe challenges. A problem isn't just your problem anymore. It becomes a collective opportunity for brainstorming, for shared wisdom. And finding these groups is easier than ever now, right? Online, platforms like Meetup for in-person groups, they're out there.
Definitely. Okay, finally, let's make sure all this action is actually targeted correctly, which brings us to goals. Goals are goldmine. We all know the SMART acronym, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. It's solid. But where people often trip up is the attainable part. Sometimes goals are attainable, but they're just not exciting. They don't light a fire under you. Your goals need to pull you forward. And once you have that compelling goal, you need laser focus. Use the FOCUS acronym. Follow one course until success. Resist the urge to chase every shiny object.
Good point. And wrapping it all together, we absolutely must embrace adventure and fear. Fear isn't the enemy. It's actually a gift. It's like a compass needle pointing directly at what you need to address next for growth. A useful way to handle fear is to divide potential actions into 2 buckets: low impact or reversible outcome versus high impact or irreversible outcome. If the potential downside is low, or you can easily undo it, like trying a new hobby, asking someone out, pitching a small side project, then just go for it. Taking those small, low-impact risks builds your courage muscle. It builds the mental capacity, the confidence you'll need when those truly massive, high-impact decisions inevitably arrive. You need the practice. So that's really the comprehensive framework, isn't it? It's the right mindset, anchored by consistent daily rituals, reinforced by those in-the-moment reminders, and then supercharged by lifetime learning and mastermind groups.
Exactly. And if you just take away one single mathematical idea from all this, let it be this one. Just 1% progress daily. It sounds tiny. But 1% daily means you're 365% better in a year. 3 times better. That's the power of relentless consistency, compounding day after day. Just focus on that tiny daily increment.
Wow. So your miraculous life, the one you dream about, it's not just going to be handed to you. It definitely requires commitment, clarity, and most importantly, action. Starting right now. A huge change like this, it starts the same way everything does. As Confucius said, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Okay.
The only question left is, what's your single step going to be today? Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.